Hi there, my name's Adrian. Today we're going to be looking at how to play Mystery Train as recorded by Elvis with an archetypal rock and roll guitar part played by the great Scotty Moore. This one is loads of fun to play, and I want to get started by looking at the main riff to the song, the bit that goes like this. And I want to begin by talking about the right hand picking technique used to play this song, which is a little bit tricky if you've never played in this kind of style before. The whole song is played with an alternating bass note style of picking in the right hand, very much in the vein of players like Merle Travis, Chet Atkins, who I believe were big influences on Scotty Moore. And you're going to need to use some kind of fingerstyle technique in your right hand to play this, because we've got bass notes and simultaneous treble notes being played. I think Scotty Moore himself used a thumb pick to play this song. I've personally not got along with thumb picks particularly well, so I prefer to use a normal guitar pick and fingers technique, which works just as well, I think. You could also dispense with the pick altogether and play this one completely fingerstyle, but I guess the drawback of that is you don't quite get the same attack and definition in your bass notes. So I recommend, I think, you either go with the thumb pick or use a pick and fingers technique to play this song. So let's start by looking at the opening riff. Gonna begin by holding down an E chord, just a normal first position E chord, which we're going to base the riff around. And as I say, that for the entire song we've got an alternating bass note pattern going on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4. So for the opening riff we're going to be playing the low E string and alternating that note with the note at the 2nd fret on the 4th string. Just on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4. And then weaved around that bass note pattern we're going to add in some other higher notes that we're going to play with our right hand fingers. So the riff goes like this. We're going to start, we've just got a single bass note on beat 1, that's the low E string. On beat 2 we've got our bass note, the 2nd fret on the 4th string. At the same time as we play that, we've got a couple of notes we're going to play with our fingers. So I'm going to be playing the 2nd and 3rd strings together with the bass note. I'm playing those notes with my middle finger and my ring finger. If you're using a thumb pick, then you'll be using your index finger and middle finger to play those 2 notes. So playing those 3 notes together on beat 2. On beat 3 we're playing another low E bass note. And then on the and of beat 3 you're going to need to play the 2nd fret on the 2nd string together with the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, and these 2 notes are again played with the right hand fingers. You've got a C sharp and an A note there. I'm fingering that with my 3rd finger. I'm just sort of barring across those 2 strings. It's quite easy to do. If you're coming to that shape from an E chord, you're just going to lay down your 3rd finger flat by collapsing that 1st joint of the 3rd finger. I think that's the best way to finger it. That's the way I've always done it. It is possible to finger that in some slightly different ways, but I think this is the way that works best for me. So that's on the and of 3. We've got those 2 treble notes. And then on beat 4 we've just got our last bass note. We're playing the 4th string again at the 2nd fret. And that's the riff. Let me just put that together slowly and you can see how it works. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. The most important thing is just to keep that bass note, alternating bass pattern going throughout the entire riff. That is what is holding the whole thing together. And you can just add in the finger notes. So it's not too tricky to play this riff, although if you've never played in this style before, it will certainly take a bit of practice to get together the right hand technique and coordination. Just want to mention a couple of further things just about the way you articulate this riff and make it sound really good. The first thing is it's going to sound good if you use a little bit of palm muting on the bass notes. That just makes them nice and percussive and you get that nice kind of rock and roll sound, particularly if you've got your guitar sound set up with that classic rock and roll slapback echo. You can really hear that echo come through if you use a bit of palm muting. The other thing is making some of the notes in the riff a little bit staccato. I think I'm cutting the chord that I play on beat 2 slightly short, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, which seems like quite a small detail, but it's one of those details that really makes the riff come to life. So I'm achieving that, I think, by just releasing pressure with my left hand fingers just after I've played that chord on beat 2. I'm also probably just touching the strings with my right hand pick and fingers to mute them as well. So you've got that 1, 2, 3 and 4, that kind of effect. So can you hear? There's just a little bit of silence after beat 2, which just really seems to help bring this riff to life. Now essentially I think this song is a blues song. It's based around the 1, 4 and 5 chords in the key of E, although it's not a conventional 12-bar structure. In fact, the structure is a little bit unusual, as I will talk about in just a minute. But let's start by looking at the verse. We begin with 5 bars of A7, and the particular finger picking pattern that Scotty Moore uses is a bit like this. And it's all based around this A7 chord shape, which I think it's a good idea if you hold this chord shape down throughout. I'm barring at the 2nd fret with my first finger. I'm covering the 4th string, the 3rd string and the 2nd string. And then I'm holding down the G note on the 1st string with my 2nd finger. So we've got an A7 chord. And then occasionally I'm putting down my little finger at the 5th fret on the 2nd string, just to create a little bit of a variation in melody. So let me take you through the exact pattern that's being used. It's a 2-bar pattern which is then repeated. We're going to start by playing the A string bass note. Then we're playing another bass note on the 2nd string, it's the 2nd fret of the 4th string. And at the same time as playing that bass note, I'm playing the 1st and 2nd strings with my middle finger and my ring finger. So that's 3 notes together there. Got another A string bass note. Then I'm putting my little finger down at the 5th fret on the 2nd string, picking that note with my middle finger of my right hand. Then I've got another bass note, this time the 2nd fret on the 4th string. So far, just slowly, we've got this. That's the first bar of the pattern. The 2nd bar, we're going to play another open A string bass note together with 2 finger notes on the 1st and 2nd strings. Then I've got another bass note, 2nd fret of the 4th string. I'm playing the 5th fret on the 2nd string with a finger of my right hand. A string bass note. Then I'm playing the 3rd fret on the 1st string with one of my right hand fingers. And finally on beat 4 I've got another bass note. So that should give you the entire 2-bar pattern. I'm going to try and put a tab to this up on my website, which should help you when you're getting this together. But if I just slowly put all of that together, it should go like this. You can just repeat that. And then I think there's just one odd bar. As I say, it's five bars on this chord, so you haven't got time to play the entire pattern. You just have to play the first bar of it in the 5th bar. So the verse begins with 5 bars of our A7 pattern. Then we return to the one called the E chord, and we're just going to play the main riff here. And we're going to play that 5 times. Then we're back to the 4 chord, and we're going to play our A7 pattern again for 5 bars. Back again to the 1 chord, playing the main riff again. This time I think we're just playing it 4 times, and then we hit the 5 chord, which goes like this. This is based around an open position B7 shape. I'm playing the 2nd fret on the 5th string with my 2nd finger, the 1st fret on the 4th string with my 1st finger, and the 2nd fret on the 3rd string with my 3rd finger. And the pattern goes like this. I'm playing the 5th string, I'm just picking that note. Then I'm picking the 4th string, and together with that note with the pick, I'm playing the 2nd and 3rd string with my fingers. I'm playing those 3 notes together. Then I'm moving my 2nd finger over to the low E string to play that F sharp note at the 2nd fret. I'm picking that note. Then I'm picking an open A string. So that's the first half of the pattern. And then we continue like this. We've got the 5th string again, the 4th string again together with our 2 finger notes. Then we're playing that F sharp note again with the pick, and then we're playing the 4th string and the 2 finger notes one more time. So that's the 5 chord pattern. Then we're back again to the 4 chord, the A7, and the pattern goes like this. So essentially what we're doing here is we're repeating bar 2 of the original pattern twice, if that makes any sense. So we're playing the A string bass note, then the 4th string together with our 2 finger notes, bass note again, 5th fret on the 2nd string, and then another bass note on the 4th string. I will try and put a tab of this up on my website, which might make it a bit easier to learn this stuff. So I say 2 bars on the 4 chord, and then we're back home to the 1 chord again at the end of the verse. Why don't I just play an entire verse for you slowly so you can hear how it all fits together. We're going to start off with our A7 pattern. 5 bars of this. Then to the 1 chord, the main riff. 5 bars. Back to the 4 chord again, same as before. 5 bars. Back to the 1. It's time for 4 bars. The 5 chord, B7, 4 chord, the 2 bars and back to the 1 again. And I just do that with a close-up of the right hand as well, so you can see that in action. Now, just before we move on and look at the solo, I just wanted to say a quick word about the structure of the song and what seemed like some slightly odd placement of chord changes. If you listen really closely to the original song, you've got Elvis playing acoustic guitar, Scotty on lead guitar, and a stand-up bass player as well. And they're not always changing chords at the same time, it seems to me. There are times when Elvis is on the A chord while Scotty is still on the E chord, and there are other times where the bass player seems to be on a different chord for a couple of beats or a bar. And I guess this is probably a consequence of the song being recorded very quickly live in the studio, probably first or second take, and the band trying to follow what Elvis was singing and what he was doing on the acoustic guitar. But it does mean there are some slight ambiguities when you're playing the song. I think I said that in the verse you should play the main riff five times, but there's an argument to be made for playing it 4 times and then having an extra bar of A as a little pickup when Elvis starts singing. So that's something that I'll leave up to you. You can have a good listen to the original and make up your own mind as to the way you want to play it there. So the solo starts with 4 bars of our A7 pattern, exactly the same as we've had in the verse. And then we're going to the 1 chord, and rather than playing that down in the first position, we're actually basing it off of this E chord shape in the 9th position, and we're playing this kind of pattern. It's based around this shape. I'm barring at the 9th fret with my first finger across the top 4 strings, and then I'm going to be adding in melody notes at the 12th fret on the 1st string with my little finger, and then I'm going to be moving my little finger up to the 12th fret on the 2nd string as well. The precise picking pattern is this. We've got our bass notes are just going to be the low open E string and the 9th fret on the 4th string, just rocking back and forth between those 2 notes. The pattern starts with the low E string, then I'm playing the 4th string with the pick, and I'm playing that together with the 1st string at the 12th fret. So I've just got my little finger pressing down that high E note there, playing those 2 notes together. Playing the 6th string again. Then I'm moving my little finger up to the 12th fret on the 2nd string and playing that note. And then I've got another bass note, which is the 4th string. So far it's this. And then the pattern continues. I'm taking my little finger away and I'm playing the low E string together with the 1st string that I'm barring at the 9th fret. Got the 4th string bass note. Then I'm playing the 12th fret on the 2nd string again with my little finger. Another low E string. Then I'm playing the 9th fret on the 1st string, and then finally the 9th fret bass note on the 4th string. Again, I'll try and put the tab to this up on the website, which should make this all a bit easier to get together. But the whole pattern for the E chord goes like this. Play that twice. Then we have 2 bars on the 5 chord, and again, rather than playing it down in the first position, we're going to play this B7 shape here in the 7th position. And once again, it makes sense to hold down the entire chord shape even though we're not playing all of the notes in the chord. And that chord shape is this. I'm bowing across all 6 strings at the 7th fret with my first finger, playing the 9th fret on the 5th string with my 3rd finger, the 8th fret on the 3rd string with my 2nd finger, and then I'm putting my little finger down at the 10th fret on the 2nd string, that A note there. So it's a nice B7 chord there. The picking pattern I'm using goes like this. So the alternating bass this time is on the 6th string to the 5th string, and I'm playing the 6th string, then I'm playing the 5th string together with the 1st string, 6th string again, then the 2nd string, and then the 5th string. That's the first bar of the pattern. And then the second bar goes like this. We've got the 6th string and the 1st string played together, the 5th string, the 2nd string, the 6th string again, the 1st string, and finally on beat 4 the 5th string. So the entire 2-bar pattern on the 5 chord goes like this. Then we're back down to our 4 chord, our A7 chord, for another couple of bars, playing something like this. That starts off exactly the same way as our verse pattern starts off. Then we continue like this. A little bit of a bending thing going on there. I'm playing the 5th string and 1st strings together, just holding down that A7 chord. Then I'm playing the 4th string bass note, playing that 3rd fret on the 1st string again, then another 5th string bass note, then I'm playing the E note at the 5th fret on the 2nd string, and then finally playing another bass note on the 4th string. So, and if you want, you can just give that 3rd fret note a little bit of a push upwards for a little bit of a bluesy bend. A bit tricky that. There is an argument, I suppose, for playing that E note as an open 1st string. It's actually a little bit easier to bend it like that, but the reason I'm playing that E note at the 5th fret on the 2nd string is just because I think that's the fingering that Scotty uses when I've watched some video footage of him playing this particular song. So that's the solo. Once again, let me play it for you slowly so you can see and hear how it all fits together. Starting with the A chord, sliding up to the E chord, the B7, A7, and then back home to the 1 chord for the riff. And here's a close-up of the right hand. Well, that's it for this lesson. I hope you have a lot of fun learning to play this song. Do check out the original recording of it. I think that's particularly important in the case of a song like this, where you'll be able to hear the subtleties and variations that Scotty Moore gives to these guitar parts. You'll also be able to hear some of those inconsistencies and quirks in the performance, which in fact are, I think, what makes the song so exciting to listen to and still really fresh today. So take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you for another lesson again very soon. Bye bye.